So Sharon, what does it mean to you to have won the Hong Kong Writers Awards 2013?
It means a lot to me because, first of all, like since I was very young, I've always wanted to be a fiction writer. But then, writing a book isn't as easy as it seems, and it's pretty hard sometimes. I've been struggling through writing the book, but then I was on the verge of giving up, and then I won the Hong Kong Writers Award, and it was like a motivation. It was a symbol. It had me going, kept me going on my feet, and it was meant so much to me.
Yeah. So you felt encouraged by the competition?
Yes, it was.
Okay, fantastic. And did you find participating in the competition improved your English? And what else did you learn through the process?
Definitely improved my English because, first of all, like people don't say practice makes perfect for no reason, and by participating in this event, it's definitely allowed me to have the chance of practicing my English and writing more. And I have to say that I learned a lot about the Great Wall because if it wasn't for the topic, I would never have done research on the Great Wall and such in-depth research on the topic. So I learned like so much about the Great Wall, the background, and everything. It's very, very enlightening.
Perfect, thank you. How did you generate your ideas for your piece after that research and looking into the Great Wall?
Well, I kept my eye open for anything new, and my piece was inspired by the Les Miserables musical. It's one of the songs, so I had to say that, after the research, you look around and you try to think of any new ideas, and creativity comes at its own time. So once I've thought of something and it starts building up, and voila, a story.
Perfect. Well, that's an interesting process, and it was a really good piece, of course.
Thank you.
So this may sound a little bit strange, but did you encounter any problems along the way as you were writing the piece, and how did you overcome certain things that you went through during the process?
There are definitely certain difficulties. First of all, I had to find the pace to really get it going, because at one point I was kind of stuck between like two different plots, and I had to decide which one was better. And then afterwards, I exceeded the word limit, and I had to cut like a lot of the storyline, and that took some time. But then I gave it like my patience and time, and after a while, it all came together.
Perfect.
So pretty smooth.
Okay, I understand. That's very helpful. And has winning motivated you to enter again this year? And what are your plans for preparing? What lessons have you learned from last year that you can apply to 2014?
I definitely will join this year because, not just because of winning, but because I'd like to learn more and experience more, and this is definitely an opportunity. I'd say, last year I learned a lot about time management because I did it kind of, at the last minute. So this year I'm starting, before, like, probably a month before. And I'm keeping my eye out now for any information and documentaries and stuff that go on TV. And, it's going to help. Hopefully.
Yeah, perfect. We look forward to reading it, absolutely.
Thank you.
So, what I want to ask you is, in your spare time since winning, have you spent any time writing in your own time and for fun, and what kind of things can you share with us about that?
I've definitely spent a lot of time writing. Like as I said before, I want to be an author or writer, and I've been working on my book. But it's a slow progress, but I'm satisfied with the results, and it's coming along. And I've also done some random short stories about different things in life.
Okay.
Like a little bit of this and that, just for entertainment.
That's great that you spend some time working on other stuff, and a book doesn't take 6 months; it takes a long time. So it's good that you've started that. I only have a few more questions, so you're doing really well. Do you have any creative tips for future participants, people that are going to be involved in the competition from now on in the future?
I have to say, don't rush literature because creativity comes at its own time. Once you've had an idea, just go with the flow and see where it takes you. Don't try to control innovation because it really does, come at certain times and quite unexpectedly. And also say something about research, because nowadays when people think about research, they immediately associate the word with internet. But I like to say that research isn't just about internet. It's also about books and lectures, documentaries, and anything that you can get your hands on, like ideas and information. So I'd say don't limit yourself to Wikipedia or Google or Yahoo, and just explore, because the world is limitless and it's ours to take.
Absolutely. That's some great advice, and I completely agree with you. So my final story is, my final question is regarding, I think you touched on this very well, but if you have any other tips regarding story building or writing techniques, or any do's and don'ts for this year's participants, if there's anything more that you'd like to add.
I'd say be original. Like don't try to copy someone else's work and shape shift it so it looks like it's yours. Because it's writing is really about originality. So it's really about what you think and what you have to say. So I'd say just think about a story and see what comes up from your mind, and really from that point start developing your own precious enchanting magic.
Perfect. I think that's everything I wanted to ask you, Sharon. You've done really well. So
Thank you.
That's great. Perfect.